Hello and welcome back to the Wyrd Wayfinder. So I was just sitting down to do a reading for y'all and sat with it for a few minutes and let the visuals come in, which is often what I do. I just don't always talk about it. And that kind of gives me a jumping off point as to like what is trying to come through for y'all today. And I kept hearing ticking, like tick, tick, tick. And I do feel like it has something to do with time. And time has been coming up pretty regularly in the readings lately. So that part didn't surprise me. And I was like, what about it? And it felt like there's this obsession with time right now. So maybe you're waiting for something, or, something is just taking forever, or, I don't know, something having to do with time. And you're watching every minute of every day tick by 1 second at a time. And it feels like torture. And I'm like, why are we staring at the clock, basically? And I do feel like there is a reason. Maybe you're waiting for somebody, or maybe you're waiting for something. Maybe you're expecting something to happen. Maybe you're waiting to get some news. I don't know. But the message that I was already getting behind that was like, stop trying to force it. It's almost as if you feel like if you look away from the clock, you're going to miss something, or it'll take longer if you're not watching time go by. And realistically, you're the one that's making it feel like it's taking longer because you're just staring at the clock. Again, we go back to the reference of like watching water boil. Watched water never boils, right? It's not until you look away that all of a sudden it seems like the water starts to boil. But it would happen. It just feels like it takes longer. It's an illusion, right? And I was like, so stop trying to watch it. Stop trying to force whatever it is to hurry up and get here, whatever that is for you. And then I heard, what is between here and there? Here being where we are right in this particular second in time, and there being whatever it is that you're waiting for to arrive. Like whatever happens at that point. The answer is life. Life right now. Like because you're staring at the clock, you're missing out on things that are currently going on around you. And I know that you're like, well, there's nothing happening or nothing can happen until this thing I'm waiting for happens. And so you're just like waiting. And that's not true. That's not true. And there might even be something to paying attention to something that is happening right now that has an effect on bringing that thing in faster or speeding up time or whatever the case may be. So this message, I'm going to pull some cards now. This message is going to be like, what do you need to know about this moment right now, about what is going on around you right now? And maybe how does that affect time or whatever it is you are waiting on? The Page of Swords. Huh. Does it feel like you're walking a tightrope? Because she is. I feel like, she's staring down at that book like she's reading, but also walking a tightrope, trying to take information while also navigating a pretty precarious situation. But she can't see where she's going if she's got her face in the book. And then she's got her thoughts being all these light bulbs that she's holding onto that look like balloons, trying to pull her off balance. I feel like just staring at the clock gives you too much time to think, too much time for your mind to take over, for your ego to get in the way, for self doubt to creep in, to question so many things. And you could fall off at any moment because you're not actually paying attention to where you're going because you're too busy thinking. You're so in your head right now. However, what I think the point of this card is this two birds on the sides that she's clearly not even realizing are there. And birds for me are often messengers. And I do feel like your spirit squad is over there trying to send you some messages. You've got some signs, synchronicities, messages, whatever coming in for you, and you're missing out on them entirely. Now, she has not fallen off this tightrope that she's walking. I think it's a sword actually, but that's fine. I think it's partially because her spirit guides, those two birds there, are kind of keeping her on balance, even though she's not paying attention. So like you don't even have to try. And your universe, your spirit guides, whatever you want to call them, are keeping you on the path. And that is kind of the point though. Like you don't have to stare at the clock in order to keep moving towards what it is that you're expecting. However, you might take a less precarious path to get there because if she was paying attention to where she was going, maybe she wouldn't have had to walk over this sword. Also, she used her sword to cross this uh, giant hole in the ground to get from one side to the other. She used her sword as a bridge. She took her thoughts, laid them down, and walked across them to get to the other side. So there is a faster way, I feel like. Your thoughts, when they're up in your mind, it's all you're thinking about and paying attention, can slow you down. But when you put the thoughts down and you just become present and you pay attention to what's going on around you and you're living life, then you might come up with an idea that gets you from one side of where you are now to where you're trying to go even faster. You might avoid the pitfalls along the way. That's a whole lot from one card, guys. That's a doozy. What are you thinking about? What's on your mind, collective? Maybe some comments? You want to share? Sometimes I find that when I can share my thoughts with somebody, even if it's just like ideas or inspirations or epiphanies, or sometimes it's like the dark thoughts, the things that I'm worried about, the doubt and questions and such. But I find that when I can share them with somebody, then I don't need to hold them in my head anymore. And if you don't have somebody to share them with, sometimes just writing it down. I'll write things down so that I can rest my brain. Because usually, if I'm holding on to that many thoughts, it's because I feel like if I don't keep it on my mind, I'll forget. And I feel like it's important for whatever reason. And so I write them down because then I know that I'll know where to find those thoughts. They won't be forgotten. I can pick them right back up when I'm ready. But in that moment, I don't have to hold them anymore. So just an idea. I feel like that's for somebody. There's actually two cards here. They fell out stuck together. You saw that. We have the King of Pentacles and the Chariot. Now, the Swords energy is all up in your mind. The King of Pentacles is like almost the exact opposite. He's very grounded, he's very present, he's paying attention to only this one thing in front of him and his environment. He's relaxed, he's smiling, he's cozy and comfortable. He's got his companion there, which could be like your spirit guide, where they're not chasing you around anymore. They're just like following right next to you, they're just chilling. And there's like magical fairy dust on top of this thing. Now, even though this is the King of Pentacles, it makes me feel like Ace of Pentacles energy. Like if when you stop doing this and you just settle in and be present, you get the Ace of Pentacles, which is like a gift. It's the beginning of your more abundant path. But also in this case, because it seems like you are waiting on something, I feel like it is the thing that you are waiting for lands right in your lap, quite literally. You don't have to chase it. This is like you going off on a wild adventure, trying to chase the thing that you're waiting for, even if it's just in your mind, even if you're just like sitting there, but in your head, you're like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, right? But this, he's just waiting and he's just chilling, and there it is. It lands right in his lap. Just saying. And then you have the Chariot. Then we have progress. We have forward motion. We are in alignment with ourselves. We are overcoming any obstacles. I do feel like this is like us finally moving forward, moving on, because now we've reached that thing that we're waiting for, or that thing that we've been waiting for has found us or is finding us. Everything is in balance. We are in control. There is something to be said here about taking back control, because if you're just sitting around waiting for the universe or even real life people to bring you what you want, or like to get you where you're trying to go, to make something happen for you. Like you need to them to give you the information you're waiting for. You need them to call you and give you this job. Like this is a bit like taking control of the situation. And there's something to be said here about like what what part of what is going on in your life right this particular moment in time is within your control, and what part of it is not within your control, because you shouldn't sit around waiting for the things that aren't in your control or even worrying about them, because you have no control over them. Surrender that control, that urge to control something that you know you can't. Don't worry about it. Don't be anxious about it, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen regardless of how much time you spend thinking about it. It's not going to change anything. And put your time and energy into the things that you can control, into yourself, the actions you're taking, where your mind is going, how comfortable you are. Like not wasting your time worrying about things that you have no control over, but instead putting your energy into the things that you do. And look how much more stable and grounded you get. And then all of a sudden you have success. Okay. So I feel like that is what they were trying to tell you about this energy for today, about time and your obsession with it, and waiting on things or not waiting on things, whatever the case may be. Let me know what this is about in the comments. Let me know if this resonates with you. Hit the like button, do all the YouTube things, hit the notification bells, subscribe if you're new here. We'd love to have you here. Until next time, remember to stay weird and live your best life. I'll see you soon.